Hello, welcome back to Tactical Tuesday with Johnny Tiger on July 20, 2021. Over there on the island of Guam, it is already July 21st and it is Guam Liberation Day. And because my cute, very attractive, very intelligent girlfriend is actually from Guam, I want to take this chance to extend a very happy Liberation Day to anyone who's watching this that may be from that region or have family from that region. Liberation is a good thing. Freedom, independence, all that. It's a good thing. And unfortunately, no matter what the pacifists like to think, no matter what some of the more naive or nicer part of our population like to think, you cannot obtain freedom or independence without sufficient amount of force and the willingness to use it. And this is why we're here for Tactical Tuesday Survival Saturday. I am not here to teach people how to hurt other people for the hell of it. I'm not here to talk about you should go out there and buy yourself a gun and just shoot anyone who pisses you off. Right? We are here to learn how to protect ourselves and at the same time tell attackers, tell bad people a very resounding no, a very assertive no and back off. And it is in the spirit of that, I want to continue the train of thought I started on that rather short and abrupt Survival Saturday when I talk about taking people's space, when you have to take their space, go on the offense, yada yada yada. Usually, when I show a principle or a technique, I like to show the reverse of it. I like to show people if this was to use on you, what can you do to break it? If you do this and someone else do that, it will break your technique. Because no technique in this world is 100% foolproof. Because everyone is different. Okay? Today you learn about how to do a technique, you might get it to work 99.9% of the time. But there's that 1% of the time when the person you run into is left-handed and you mess up your technique. Okay? A lot of things are possible. A real fight on the street in the urban environment, very, very fluid, more so than in the ring, more so than on the mat. Right? Fights are already very fluid in the ring, on the mat, especially when you're going against high-level opponents. But out there, when you don't know about the person, you don't know what they trained in, you don't know what kind of work they've done. You don't know if they went to jail and learned how to fight there. Anything can happen. Okay, so it is perfectly possible and have happened a lot when you run into someone who's attacking you. And maybe they've also watched the Johnny Tiger daily video, or they learned a little bit of judo. They learned a little bit of eskrima or silat. So the moment you engage, they come in and try to take your place. They do all the right things. They put their hand in between you, they're punching, they're moving in, and suddenly you find yourself say, hey, 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 I was supposed to be doing that, but this person is doing it to me. What am I going to do? Right? Luckily, like most techniques, once you know how to break it, the principle of someone taking your space, the movement of someone moving to take your space is surprisingly easy to stop. I'm going to show you three variations, three principles today that hopefully uh, you'll never have to put them to use. But if someone ever tries to take your space, then it will help you out. Number one, the most reliable works pretty much almost every time someone tries to take my space, I'm going to use pain compliant. We talked about this before. Tactical pen, hairpin, anything sharp, knife, uh, a sharp piece of plastic, anything sharp. Okay? Person trying to take my space. All I have to do is put this against his chest. I don't even have to jab him. I don't even have to stab. I just have to put this in place. Okay? He's coming towards me. I put it in between us. He's got his hand. He's punching, occupying this airspace. That's okay. I'm going to put my hand up with the tactical pen and put the point forward. Let him punch that. He's not going to hit that. Right? He's trying to take my head space. I put this right in front of his face. Go ahead, walk into that. Not going to happen. He's trying to come in and take my leg space. He stepped forward. I put this into his belly. Right? Come on, come forward. Not going to. Right? No one. Right? Unless they are super high, super drunk, or something, will willingly force their body onto a sharp point. Right? It's just not what we are programmed to do. Right? Now, of course, that's one of those life and death battle kind of situation we have heard of anyway in legends where people will walk themselves onto someone else's bayonet or sword just so they can get to the person. I mean, if you're in that kind of situation, it's a completely different environment. But generally speaking, in the urban self-defense situation, which is what we're talking about, of course, because let me show you why it's different. Because if I'm on the battlefield where the person might have the motivation or the training or the tenacity to come forward into my sharp point just to kill me, then I wouldn't be just putting this in between us. I would be shoving this in his eyes or right in the throat to end the fight right then and there. Right? Because if his intent is to murder me, then my intent would be I want to murder him first. So, in an urban environment, normal day-to-day self-defense, where the person is just an aggressive biker getting mad at you at the bar, or someone who wants to rob you in the back alley, okay? Putting a sharp point in between you and him will stop this attempt at taking your space. Now, some people might say, well, okay, that's cool, that's cool. I mean, you talk as if every one of us carries something sharp like you do. What if we are not psychopaths like you? Whether we are normal people, we don't carry anything sharp. That's fine. You can do pain compliant just as well with now the sharp object. It's a little bit harder, but you can still do it. Right? Someone's trying to come forward into my space. I put my palm against his nose. He is not going to come forward. Right? Someone trying to come into my space. I put two fingers, thumb, forefinger into his throat, right against the trachea. He's not going to come forward. Right? Someone trying to come forward into my space. I put my fist. I don't even need to hit him. I just put my fist right at his groin level. He's not going to move forward. Someone trying to occupy the space between us with their own fist, punching. That's fine. Then all I have to do is put my elbow in the way of their punches. Let them break their knuckles on my elbow. Okay? Same thing. We're still using pain, the fear of pain, to make them stop doing that. So number one, works almost every time. Pain compliance. Number two, number two is the wind and the water principle. The wind and the water principle. For this one, understand that no one can truly take your space, because your space is wherever you are at this given moment. Once I move from this spot, that's no longer my space. My space is now to the left. Once I step forward, that's no longer my space. My space is now forward. I step back to the right, that is no longer my space. My space is now where I'm standing, back to the right. So no one in this world can truly take your space unless someone take a giant hammer and squash you on the spot where you stand. Well, then okay, then that hammer is now in your space. But short of that, short of anything so ridiculous, no one can truly take your space. The reason we feel that they are taking our space is all up here. It's all psychological, right? So the wind and the water principle shows us that rather than, oh, the person is going to take my space and I don't know what to do, all we have to do is flow around them, breathe around them, move. You want my space? Okay, I'm going to move my space. You want my space? I move my space. You want my space? I move past you. Now I'm in your space. Right? Always stay on the move. Right? They come towards you, you step around them. They come towards you, you step to the side. They come towards you, you squat down and move past them. Right? Constantly moving your space so they can't take it. Right? Your space is where you happen to be at that given moment. This principle is used very often by professional boxers and kickboxers. That is why they're constantly moving in and out, never get pinpointed and moving side to side. They're always moving in and moving out to the side and ducking down, ending up behind the person. Right? When a person is constantly moving, when you try to take their space, then you have to constantly reorient yourself. And that becomes very difficult. For example, the person coming toward me, he's occupying the space between us. So if I go, oh my God, he's going to take my space, and I try to stand my ground, eventually I'm going to get overwhelmed, right? But if he's punching and he's punching, I say, okay, well, you want this space? Here. Suddenly, I am to his side. Pow! I can hit him in the face. Boom! Hit him in the groin. For him to occupy that space, again, he has to turn to face me. Okay? And all I did was turn my body. From facing him, I shuffle a small step, turn my body. Now, my space is no longer in front of him. Okay? The wind and the water, like Muhammad Ali said, float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. And the sting like the bee, basically we are combining principle number one, the pain compliance, with principle number two, the wind and the water. Let me explain. Every time the person attempts to take my space, every time I move out to the side or I move past them, I'm not going to leave them unscathed. While I'm moving, all I have to do is move, pow, slap across the face. They come at me again, I move, pow, slap across the face. They come at me again, I move, pow, slap across the face. I'm just using standard left hand, slap across the face every single time. But if I keep this up, they are going to quit way before I do. Because every time they do something, they end up getting a slap across the face, and they don't end up getting my space. It's not a good trade-off. Number three, the spider web principle. What is the spider web principle? The spider web principle First, we need to understand that it is perfectly fine to have two people occupying the same space at the same time. Again, the idea that someone comes toward me, someone taking my space, I have to get away. I have to move my space, or I have to fall down, or I have to somehow push them back. This is all up here in your head. There's nothing wrong with two people occupying the same space. You want to come into my space? That's okay. I'm just going to fall. I'm just going to entangle you with my body. Okay, this is going to seem a little bit homosexual or whatever. Make all the joke you want, but this is very, very effective. I have high-level guys, high-level judo guys, black belt judo guys, high-level jiu-jitsu, Brazilian jiu-jitsu guys that comment on I am extremely hard to take down, even for them. Because every time you try to take me down, I'm going to snag a part of you. I'm going to entangle you. I'm going to go limp and curl around you. Okay? I don't know if you guys ever get a big massive spider web on your hand or your arm, and you try to get rid of it, and every time you thought you finally got rid of it, it come right back because it's stuck to your sleeve, it's stuck to your other hand, stuck to your pinky finger, stuck to your pants. Everywhere you touch it, you get stuck. Right? This is the spider web principle. When someone tries to take your space, welcome them in. Okay, it's okay. They want to come into my space. That's fine. I'm just going to lean into you. You want to come into, you want to punch, you want to occupy the space between us? That's fine. I'm just going to thread my arms through, grab your arm, and lean into you. Fine. Let's share the same space. Let's share the same space. Huh? What are you going to do here? Huh? Let's share the same space. You try to throw me, I'm just going to go limp and drop my weight down on you. You're trying to push me back, I'm just going to lean forward and lean my weight on you, right? I'm going to use you like that straw where the man who's drowning is grasping at. I'm going to be the drowned man, and this person can be the straw. Everything he does, I'm just going to snag him one part or another, arm, shoulder, neck, shirt, pants, stick my hand in his pocket, through his belt, snag onto him, okay? And then lean my weight into him. I'm totally limp, totally flexible. Wherever he wants to be, I will be in that space too. It does take a little bit of practicing, and the danger of this one is it will become an endurance game. If the person has better endurance than you are, you will tire yourself out eventually. Okay, so the key here is I don't want to play this game for too long. Once the person comes into my space, they punch, 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 occupies the space between us with their hand. I thread my arms through, grab them, lean in, and now we're here drunkenly dancing around like two drunken sailors. I don't want to stay here, okay? Once I stabilize the situation, once I realize that no, they don't really know what to do with me from here, okay? I'm going to go from spider web back to being very assertive. Okay, so going from this totally limp posture, I'm going to push off of him and punch in the face and go in and go on the attack. Right? Go from zero resistant, total compliant, totally. I'm going to give you a big hug, man. I love you so much. Boom, 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 in the face. Right? So out of the three, the spider web principle got to be the hardest, but it's extremely useful in that case where you just can't get away from the person. By leaning into them, grabbing a hold of them, right? Entangle them, right? Don't don't worry about that bear hug or death grip stuff. Your goal is not to take them down. Your goal is to cling to them. So grab their shirt, grab under their arm, grab their belt, grab their collar, and their hair, whatever. Just stay close to them. As long as you stay clean to them, they will not be able to throw you or push you back or slam you down. Okay? So, quick recap. Number one, the pain compliant, the sharp object between you and them so they can't come forward, or a hand against the nose, against the throat, against the groin, anything to stop them from coming forward. Number two, wind and willow. You want to come into my space? I'm going to move my space. I'm going to move my space. Every time I move, I slap you across the face. Every time I move, I slap you across the face. Next time I move, I jab you in the eyes. Right? I will always be moving, so you can't pinpoint where's my space. Number three, the spider web. You come into my space, I welcome you into my space. Good, come in. Then I'm going to cling onto you, my hand, my leg, my face, and everything. I'm going to cling to you with everything I have. You move your arm, I cling to your arm. You try to move your leg, I try to cling to your leg. And then, once I got a secure hold on you, once I feel that you are not so feisty anymore, I push off of you and go on the attack. Just like taking space, these principles are not 100% foolproof, of course, nothing is. But as long as you practice them and you know when the first one fails, you can use the second one. If the third one fails, you can use the first one. Then you have a very good chance to become a very hard person for someone to steal their space from. Thank you for checking out today's video. If you like the Technical Tuesday, then please check out the John Tiger Experience podcast, which you can find on any Echo Amazon devices and any podcasting platform. We'll be back again tomorrow for Wisdom Wednesday. For now, have a good night.